On this week's episode of Friend Code, we're talking about the most recent Nintendo Direct. Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Friend Code. I'm your host, Michael Damiani, and this week I'm joined by Bradley Ellis.
Achievements.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hi.
We didn't get achievements in the Direct, Brad. I'm sorry. Nintendo has let you down once again.
Honestly, don't want them, but sure.
Why? Why not?
They don't do that much for me. I've
But
got enough
they're
of them.
optional.
Yeah, it's not like it's hurting you by being there.
Is it irksome to you that
Actually,
you
the
see 'em?
Xbox sounds have gotten more and more obnoxious.
Yeah, you could
the
disable
big
that,
giant
though.
diamond. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's obnoxious, but you can disable that.
I guess this is for someone who doesn't want it. It's just another step you have to do. I have to go into my options, turn it off.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to make like
Brad,
3 clicks.
I know, Brad. But in this
I just
day
don't
and
know why they didn't
age,
keep it simple. Like, it was more iconic just to have like the one sound.
I mean, I agree. Yeah.
that part, yeah, I'll concede that to you, Bloodworth, for sure. So this Nintendo Direct, the most recent Direct, it was delayed a week because of the earthquake in Hokkaido. But there were still a lot of announcements. It was 35 minutes long, pretty close to the length of an E3 Direct. So there was a lot in here. I was hosted by Shinya Takahashi, who most recently worked on Mario Tennis Aces.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering. He just seemed to be kind of a random pick. It's like, who is this guy?
They have been spreading it around a little bit more. It is interesting to see. I think they just want to give more screen time to the faces behind the actual games and show that these are the people who make the games. They're passionate about it and are also, speaking to you and just being, a friendly face to get to know. I think it's a good idea. I'm kind of liking it. I like meeting all people having a chance to meet the new and faces at Nintendo, or some of the people that just haven't gotten a lot of screen time.
I just think we need a little bit of a better introduction to who this person is.
That I will definitely agree on, because this was just hi, I'm here. And it's like, okay. And I looked up. I was like, wait, you're Mario Tennis Aces producer. Oh, okay. Well, why didn't they say something in that? But
Yeah, I wish they did. I had no idea who he was.
yeah. But we started off with a trailer. And we knew this was going to have Switch and 3DS announcements, and I forgot they said 3DS stuff was coming first or whatnot. But trailer begins, and it's Luigi's Mansion. And we're like, all right, they're getting the 3DS stuff out of the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And as time goes on, I was like, is this a CG trailer? Because this is looking kind of good. And I forget who it was. Might have been Kyle. Realized this isn't the 3DS game, guys. And then as soon as that realization happened, the title dropped. Luigi's Mansion 3, coming in 2019. So right out the gates, starting off with a stealth announcement there.
Great.
You guys excited for this?
Yeah, I'm also, I want to know a lot more because Luigi's Mansion 2, which I thought was a great game to have on the 3DS, but at the same time, I didn't feel like it had as much personality as the original. The original game had a lot more very unique character ghosts.
Okay,
whereas,
I did see people talk about the Ghost Rider, yes.
Yeah, so when you got to the quote-unquote bosses or whatever of the second game, they weren't as interesting or diverse. It was kind of the same thing over and over.
What about because Dark Moon, you went to different mansions.
I loved that about it.
Yeah.
I did love that.
Versus
really
the singular mansion in Luigi.
And I think that helped, especially because, the first game's not a particularly long game, and so it works to have a familiar setting. And because you had the different characters you kind of learned about, then, that kind of helped. But, yeah, if you have longer games, then you need to find some way to mix it up a little bit in terms of visuals.
Yeah, what's up, Brad?
I'm just picturing the Shadow Moses moment in my mind where you go back to the mansion from the first game in this with Dr. Egad. I'm just picturing it all right now. You're going to get the flashbacks in the GameCube.
Yeah, Luigi looks down. He's like, in a flashback to GameCube graphics. That'd be pretty cool. But
the Poltergeist looks different, though.
Yeah, that looked different. We looked at that. We frame advanced that trailer to try and look for clues, but there really weren't that many big details revealed about it.
Just a little teaser thing.
Which it's kind of what our first patron submitted question kind of asked us to think about from Straw Hat Ninja. Greetings, allies. Luigi's Mansion 3 was a big surprise to everyone, as I never heard anyone predict anything about it. I'm very excited for it, and I was just wondering, what would you like to see in this sequel? For me, I'd really like to have a bunch of unique ghosts to catch like the first one, and it be in just one mansion this time. Thanks for considering my question. Love and respect. So you already touched upon that a little bit, Bloodworth,
Yeah.
with the ghost variety.
The hotel does seem to indicate that you'll be in one place, but the place is huge. You know,
Yeah,
it's
like different wings.
It's almost like buildings stacked on top of each other, just going sky high.
Yeah, that last image made it definitely got that vibe. I also think there'll be like more like of the grounds to explore as well.
Yeah, of course.
I definitely feel that. But I do think there's something to be said about the cohesion and the atmosphere of sticking to one general location instead of trying to craft multiple different like mansions like they did with Dark Moon. They weren't particularly bad or anything like that. I thought all of them were okay. It just, the first game, yeah, the personality and the atmosphere did it for me a little bit better in the first game.
Sure.
And I'd like to see a return to that. Cameos, I think, with all those posters and stuff, you know.
Right.
I'm thinking maybe you
more
see
that Mario cast in there.
Yeah, that you don't play as them or anything like that, but it'd be nice to have, you know, more recognition for Luigi as the hero in the game.
Well, one thing I'm curious about is they showed multiplayer being added to the 3DS game.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
And it was
two-player
really
Weird.
kind of weird, cheapish
yeah, it
looking.
looks
Like I don't know if
weird,
you're playing as like a ghost that like copies Luigi's body or what.
Yeah.
But it's kind of strange looking. The other thing I was thinking of, and I don't remember the details of how it worked, but I remember I was having a lot of fun with the Luigi's Mansion minigame on the Wii U. Remember in Nintendo Land?
Oh,
Yeah.
Nintendo Land's minigame. Oh yeah, yeah.
Was that
yeah.
like the top
the
down
spotlight?
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So I'm curious whether this will have anything like that or a new concept
I
or
wonder if they just say something like that for Mario Party. If they have like an idea like that.
I mean, that specific thing maybe, but the addition of some kind of mini games could be an attractive prospect for the game.
Sure.
I expect to see some unique things thrown in there that we hadn't seen before, at the very least. You know.
I want to see some cool tricks with HD Rumble.
Oh yeah.
Get some,
When you're
you know,
when you're
Psycho
pulling those
Mantis style
ghosts.
stuff in our Luigi's Mansion.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. When you go back to the original mansion and then you come across like like one of the ghost bosses,
Yeah.
it's like I can read.
It's like Waluigi as Psycho Mantis.
I see you like Smash Brothers.
Yes. Yeah, you like Breath of the Wild, eh?
Yeah. You didn't get all those 900 Korok seeds. Well, this boss battle's about to get harder. That'd be kind of funny. But you did mention we did talk about 3DS Dark Moon Luigi's Mansion because as well there were some minor 3DS announcements. I don't want to get too deep into them, but Luigi's Mansion port was covered. You talked about the 2-player mode. It was pretty much like the big thing they added in this. They talked about Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn is coming to 3DS.
Yeah, which looked like a compressed JPEG.
Yep. That's the one thing I just wanted to get the point across from me. So that does not look as good on the 3DS, and that's a game that looked really good on Wii.
time, yeah.
And I don't understand why it's on 3DS, but okay. More Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Adventure. As Blood pointed out, the poor people have to like write that title down. Mario and Luigi.
Can you imagine trying
Bowser's
to like
Inside
pick that
Story.
off of a list
Plus-
on Twitch or YouTube and it's the game?
I bet people just drop the plus Bowser's
Sure,
Jr.'s Adventure
yeah.
or like Twitch. I bet treats it separately or something.
Well, like Monster Hunter, YouTube didn't even bother with making Ultimate a separate game. Like the only thing in YouTube's database still is just Monster Hunter Generations from like 2015. I think it originally came out.
I know Twitch does that a little bit now. They either put like the game original game version's name, like a lot of MMOs and online games. They don't put the expansion names like Battle for Azeroth. You can't play World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth on Twitch. You just play World of Warcraft,
Right.
and I think that's simpler like that. People understand that. I'll mention Yokai Watch. Got talked about. That's all I really want to say about Yokai Watch. But the vibe I got from this is that we've been hearing about these games pretty much for the last few directs, and to me just hammer home's the point that in terms of new software, we're approaching the final months of 3DS support.
Okay.
There really isn't much beyond. There probably is nothing beyond this other than maybe bargain bin games and the random third party
sure.
cash in.
Like, I don't think we'll get a new Zelda.
No,
it.
I don't think so at this point. I think we would have heard about it by now if those rumors were true.
Because there's two different teams, right, for that? There's the handheld team and the console team or whatever?
They've all been consolidated. On
Okay.
I mean, Zelda team could technically have 2 teams. They've always
I see.
done projects sort of like that.
Yeah.
They pulled resources back and
Well,
forth.
and you look at some of the other things that they've been doing with 3DS, like the Mario Kart bundle, and it just shows that the 3DS's biggest hits are already out. And like the games that are selling the most on the platform are games that have been out for years. And so Nintendo is really coming to the point where they don't need to keep putting out new games for it, because the people that are going to pick a 3DS up at this point have so many to choose from.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, Bloodworth. Yeah, that's all it's going to be. This is not them pulling complete support for 3DS. They're still going to manufacture new 3DSs for a while, for several years probably. It's just don't expect very much, in the way of new games. You've got a solid library already. Anyone, as you said, jumping in has this huge library to pick from. It isn't
massive.
It doesn't need any more at this point. And,
I am curious whether they would do like one more last ditch version like they did with the Game Boy Micro.
Oh, the hardware,
Yeah.
last version hardware.
Yeah, like some
Well, they kinda
smaller
did it, I
version
thought.
that doesn't even have a card slot or something. It's
Isn't
like
that
download
new
only.
2DS X?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
that's
Like they've
kinda
had
like
so
it,
many.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the last one. Just then, it's like you got the Switch is also a hybrid.
Those things are super crazy light.
They are. I remember holding it and I was just like, okay, this feels like a toy almost, like it's gonna break, but apparently they are durable. That was it for 3DS. They moved on. They got into the Switch announcements, and they started off with this is a big one. Splatoon 2 getting its version 4.0 update. It already released. Came out September 13th. There are a ton of changes in this, mostly to Splatfest, how Splatfest stuff is going to work.
I remember the direct saying Splatfest would change, but I didn't get the details. So
Okay, so I'll try and make this as brief as possible. There's basically going to be normal and pro modes that will be replacing solo and team modes in Splatfest. In normal mode, you can jump into a Splatfest battle on your own, join up to 1 to 3 friends on the same team. All this information comes from the Splatoon Tumblr, by the way. The official one. If you join a match as a group of 2 or 3, random solo players will be matched up. It's just matchmaking stuff. But in this mode, the amount you inked is added to any win bonus you get to determine your clout. If your team is on a win streak, the game will try and match you against teams with a similar streak. And they talk about like gear rewards and stuff like that. Pro mode is for those who want to go solo and push themselves to the limit. You're judged on your Splatfest power. You increase your clout in this mode by beating the opposing team. You get more clout for beating teams with a higher Splatfest power. We talked about like 10x battles and 100x battles that are rare occurrences, but the contribution points will be multiplied by those values should you win. And then the final Splatfest results will now be decided based on 3 factors: votes, clout from normal mode players, and clout from pro mode players. So that's how they're doing it now. And that dropped, but we'll talk about, there is a question later on about it, but I just want to mention it because it's coming up. They did announce that we are in the final 12 months of updates for Splatoon 2. That the final set of maps will be added in October. There'll still be other revisions and balance updates, stuff like that, throughout next summer, but then that's it that they have planned. So joining arms is they've entered the final like end game of their updates for these online games. Just something to
which
chew
I think
on.
I've definitely seen some backlash because of the online service coming. And I think too it's kind of, unless they've got some huge design documents where they want to do something very different with Splatoon 3, It does seem kind of strange as to like, well, why put a cap to it? Why not just keep putting out more content for the game than saying, all right, we're going to wrap it up
Has
here.
the content been free?
Yeah, I think except the Octo expansion.
Yeah,
was paid.
so the expansions
story.
are not free, but these version updates
The
are.
updates?
Yeah.
And I think someone was trying to clarify that their 12-month period is for the free updates, I believe. I don't think there's
so there
anything
may be more that's
there might
paid?
be more expansions potentially. That hasn't been clarified just yet. So it does leave the door open for the possibility that there's a major expansion coming, maybe like next fall or something.
But I mean,
then,
I feel like Nintendo's been for for one point actually been right on the money with not charging because of all the hassle that gets happen with splitting the player base of who has a map and who doesn't, and people getting weapons for paid and all that. So it would, to me, like, if they introduced something later on as a paid thing, it would have to be like the Octo expansion, where it's a story thing and it's not even in the multiplayer pool at all.
I agree with you. That makes sense. But thinking about it more, I just don't get how they can release an expansion and then they wouldn't do any. Does this no more free updates thing also mean they're not going to support those expansions with any like balance updates or adjustments? It's just a little weird, the wording. I'd be more inclined to believe that Splatoon 2 is winding down into next year, but because of its popularity, they're not ending it. That means a Splatoon 3 is coming.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. That's why they're going to stop.
But yeah, I'm with you, Blood, about why. Like, what radically different, design-wise, are they going to do that justifies making a brand new game rather than continuing to support a already very popular game that's still going very strong? It's just a little interesting because they run the risk of, if they introduce a new game and it does new things, like very drastically new things, and people don't like it, they've just killed off something that, because they're not updating Splatoon 2 anymore, people could go back to it, but it's no longer an actively updated game, which is...
Although I guess, maybe the best case scenario is that they just need that team to make something just as cool and new as Splatoon was the first time around, and it's not even going to be a Splatoon sequel. It's going to be something completely
new?
different. Yeah.
That sounds kind of appealing.
I mean, how long do people want them to update this game when they're not making money off it with updates?
Yeah. I guess the thing is now that they will be charging for online for this game, so it's no longer free. So I guess in some players' minds, the cost of that online, it's partly to keep running the online service, but also part of that has to be in their minds has to be going to the online games themselves to continue supporting them. And
I don't think so. I think it's just gonna be like every other console.
I know that's how it really works.
Okay,
I agree with you, Brad. And it's these games in a weird place where they're not like MMOs, but they have they thrive on their huge online multiplayer component.
Right.
And where is the point where you say this wasn't designed to just... Never mind. Where's the point where this this doesn't have a subscription model, and there's no like in-game like microtransaction purchases like continuously sustain it? Yeah, where do you draw the line on that?
Yeah, I mean that may be just it, that they'd rather make a sequel than try to mess with the balance of this with microtransactions.
Sure. Yeah.
And so have a sequel that out the gate, it's that okay, you have these cosmetic things that you can pay money for, and then there's other elements that are your weapons and your modifiers and such that you don't pay for that, but you still get those in a similar way that you do now. But I do think that there probably is, like Brad was saying, some need to have something that people are buying to sustain all of the rest of the updates for everybody else.
I wonder if there's any thought in Nintendo about a mobile component. Like, I mean, they already have the app, but like actually a way to play Splatoon on mobile phones and have it be cross-platform with Switch, because this is it's a very successful franchise, but it clearly does the best. It's doing phenomenally well in Japan.
Yeah.
And I think they might see that this game might be able to do well on mobile platforms as well as on the Switch. And maybe it's just too late for Splatoon 2 to get that implementation on mobile devices. So a brand new entry could have that framework in place potentially. And thus, it's results in a more appealing and like a wider audience, more consumers, something like that. Yeah,
it's coming. Splatoon 3.
Battle Royale and Splatoon are like completely opposite designs.
Yeah,
they could just change it up.
Next up was Mario Tennis Aces. This is getting a version 2 update. it will be actually tomorrow from our recording, but it already have happened by the time this goes up for everyone. It's including 4 new characters: Birdo, Shy Guy, Koopa Paratroopa, and Petey Piranha. So 4 characters at once instead of the monthly character from the challenge from participating in the tournament. But they're adding a co-op challenge mode, which are limited time events that if you complete them, you unlock new gear and power-ups for your swings and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And while that sounds cool, my concern is that why wasn't that in the original game? Because that was one of my biggest criticisms, and a lot of other critics brought it up as an issue, is that the game was a little bit content starved.
Yeah.
And this is something that seemed like it could have nicely filled in that gap.
Sure. I mean, it could have been made post release. I don't know. They could have just held it off. Yeah, you're right. To have something roll out down the line.
I mean, it looked like the same maps. It was like rings,
Right.
hit the thing, do the rings, and the 4-player on one side challenge thing. I was like, these don't seem like it.
Yeah, it's
really
not
needed
a
lot
big
more
thing
time.
to me. It's just a cool little thing that I would do once or twice maybe. But it's cool that's coming. I guess it's free, right?
Yes. I didn't see anything about having to pay for it in the direct invites or anything about it. And when I looked at the information, it said nothing about it. And yeah, maybe it's their philosophy. They want people to keep playing games for several months. I mean,
So
that's why they
spaced it out.
That's why they added the whole new character as just participate in a tournament. Even if you lose, you'll get that new character the next month. It's just a way to keep people playing that game over time.
Okay.
That was really it. Mario Tennis Aces. This is something we're playing on the stream tonight after we record. So I don't know how much we need to really talk about, but the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle coming to a bunch of different platforms, including Switch. 7 different games, like Final Fight, King of Dragons, Captain Commando. Capcom acknowledging that game exists. Knights of the Round, Warriors of Fate, and 2 games that had never been released on home console before.
Ooh.
Armored Warriors and Battle Circuit. I laughed because in a Slack, was it Huber mentioned? I haven't heard of some of these games before.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. You never heard of them?
So I was like, whoa, we
Yeah.
got really went to the bottom of the well here. They're going to offer online play. As I said, they're out today. And I guess the thing I really want to try and talk about with this, I feel this is more evidence, if it's not already evident to everyone else, that it's going to be up to publishers how they want to release their retro catalogs on Switch.
Well, did you see Sega announced the Master Collection today?
Yeah, as I was like
Their
driving
Genesis
down, I
collection.
saw the email.
Really?
Yeah, so we're getting that. This is the way it's going to be. There is going to be no virtual console.
Just collections?
It's just going to be collections.
Did they say 50 games on that?
Ooh, wait.
On the Genesis Collection?
It's right here. I have the email. So Sega
Yeah.
Genesis Classics coming to Switch, available both digitally and physically this winter, and it is coming to PS4, Xbox. Already came out PS4, Xbox One. It is Sega Genesis Classics has over 50 retro favorites to experience across every genre.
Pretty good.
Exclusive for the Nintendo Switch players, can now compete in same screen local co-op.
Cool.
And each can use a Joy-Con individually. There's at least another game on this list that also offers that as well. Oh, Civ 6 also offers 4-player split-screen co-op or multiplayer mode, which seems to be a unique thing just for Switch versions, but not Prime Video. Back to Drive. I think that's the way it's going to be. I'm curious if how recent will we get of game collections before it's just gonna just be like the divide between port and collection,
Right.
because we're seeing a lot of games from this generation to last generation getting single individual release ports. I guess I want to know about GameCube.
Right.
I want to know if
That
GameCube
rumor,
games are ever
the
coming.
NX rumor, yeah.
Yeah, that's really
Virtual console with GameCube games.
Just give me
that has
Castlevania
not
collection.
that stuff.
do it.
You know that's coming, Brad.
Just do it.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely coming at some point. So expect more collections. Is kind of the message from that. But speaking of ports, that was the next big announcement. That new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe coming to Switch. This had been rumored for a while. I was incorrect. I thought they would drop the U from it. At least they didn't put Wii anywhere in it. But I thought the U was going to confuse people. But it is the latest Wii U game to receive a Switch port. This version is going to add Nabbit, which is basically for easy mode.
Yeah, you
can't take
like, die,
damage. You
yeah,
just run
or,
through the stage. Basically, Funky Kong mode right there. And this is like earth shattering right here. So Toadette will be playable, but the big story is that when Toadette gets a super crown, she transforms into Peachette.
Yeah, where's this fit in the canon? How's this work?
We haven't
So
figured
what
it out yet.
we need to know what the implications of this are. This is
My biggest news theory is body doubles. That's why Peach was always in another castle, because the Toads were all like disguising themselves as Peach, and one by one they got nabbed until he finally got the real one.
I bet someone will ask me a motor this now, and he'll just like nod his head.
Like,
That is correct.
Stop asking me.
It's also going to include this game's also going to include all the Luigi content as well, and when all said and done, 164 courses playable, coming out January 11, 2019. I think this is probably gonna. I think it's gonna sell a lot. It's gonna continue the trend of the Switch Wii U ports selling very well on the Switch, and I am. As much as this is like good news, it still makes me want like Mario Maker. Like I kept holding out that Mario Maker would be like the next one, but
I just hope every time it's Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. I just hope every
Every
time.
time,
It never
right?
is.
Did either of you play this one?
I didn't play the Luigi's part. I played
That's
the,
fine.
the
You
basic.
played
Yeah,
the original.
I played a fair amount of it, but I don't think that I ever completely beat it.
Because it was a launch title for Wii U.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's this weird game that kind of has like there's this division of like people. I think there are people like me that had played the past few New Super Mario Brothers games and didn't feel enough new in it and just kind of got tired of it.
Okay.
But then there are other people that I know that are just like this is the best. This is one of the best Mario games ever made. So especially if you just stick to playing it single player.
I have fun with them. It is a little bit more of the same, but it's still pretty good more of the same. I think the low point for the new Super Mario Brothers games was New Super Mario Bros. 2 for DS, the gold coin one.
Yeah.
That one
I
was the weakest one, I think, of any of them in the series. This one was fun. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle the... Cause use the gamepad originally, and a second player could use it to make platforms to assist people,
Right.
and now you can't use the Switch undocked like that. But can you use multiple switches or something? I don't know how they're gonna even even keep that. It was kind of fun to do that, but it's a fun game. The multiplayer, I will concede, can get a little bit
Chaotic?
not just cat. I was gonna say it's secret. It's like a kind of a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I'll be against like multiplayer Mario
my
games,
God, yeah.
but it's fun. Just especially vertical levels, just like leaving people behind.
Man, I
Just, like,
played through it with Mike. So fun.
the bubbling up, like strategic bubbling up and
Yeah.
stuff. So good.
yeah.
It's like,
that
okay,
part's
bubble
fun,
up, dude. I'm gonna go a little
Yeah.
further
Bubble
now.
up.
Pop you.
Yeah, I didn't get to play as much of the Wii U one in multiplayer, but I remember, man, there was some weekend, I think over like Thanksgiving weekend or something, where we just played through all of the Wii game with 4 players, and yeah, that was
Nice.
that was pretty crazy,
Yeah.
pretty fun.
I think, yeah, and it's coming out in January, so we're starting to see like the next year's lineup being solidified. And as you'll see, there's another game that we've heard about many, many times. It still only has a window of release. But next up, interesting surprise, Katamari Damacy Reroll.
Yeah.
HD remaster of the original PS2 game. It's going to feature HD rumble, gyro controls, 2-player split-screen co-op, coming November 30th, and it's only going to be $30. I saw some people originally worried that was going to be a full-price game. No, it's not. $30. This is a game I'm ashamed to admit I've never touched before.
Oh,
Never
no.
played
Now's
any
the
Katamari.
time.
Nice.
And I think this might be the time to get in. But
Yeah,
for any of you who've
love
played it, like, what's the appeal of this game? Like, from,
It's just it's just zaniness.
Yeah, when I played it, there was nothing like it at
Okay.
the time. Like that was on PS2, and I still think it's pretty unique too. Besides all the sequels that they have, great soundtrack, really
Yep.
fun like levels, pretty stress-free game. Down there, like you can just
Yeah.
play that game, kick back, have a good time.
all right.
Yeah,
It's the king of all cosmos.
Yes.
Okay.
but the it's one of the, to me it's just still one of those like legendary E3 moments where it was, it was
Yeah.
in the corner of Namco's booth, and like nobody had any idea what it was, and people just kept coming over and being like, "Dude, you've got to go over to Namco's booth and play Katamari. It's the craziest, weirdest thing. You've never seen anything like." Like, okay, like it was just like one of those things that just spread word of mouth at E3, and became kind of a phenomenon for a few years. A little cult hit going on.
Nice to see. Hopefully this leads to a resurgence, perhaps. Like if it sells very well, this
Yeah.
version.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's held it back is just, the creator's moved on. He's doing other things.
That
so,
too.
Yeah.
Never know what might happen. So the next bit dropped it kind of in the middle of the direct, lengthy part about the Nintendo Switch Online details. They had a video presentation for us. There wasn't anything surprising, honestly.
There wasn't much that was new. It was a lot of just animating the same information we already had.
They dressed it up, Bloodworth. They're like, let's make it look good with some nice CG animations because
Bowser playing.
let's do our best Disney impersonation right here. So so as you don't know, as of what is it? We are at just after 4 p.m. Pacific time. At 5 p.m. today, there will be maintenance for 3 hours, and at 8 p.m. paid online begins. Everyone will have a 7-day free trial period, and then after that, you'll be billed for whatever tier that you decide to pay into. And this includes all games that previously had online, any game going forward that have online. The exception will be free-to-play games like Warframe and Fortnite will still not require any kind of paid online service. We got our first look at the NES library interface. That we hadn't seen that yet. It's like that vertical column about like 3 or 4 games, and you can like rearrange it. There's a button to like move. They flip over and stuff like that.
There were some new games in there. I forget what game was it. There was something that they mentioned had never been re-released like since the NES in that group. So that's cool that they're still looking at options and bringing a little bit of variety compared to
I just had the name.
just
and then I looked down and I
rehashing
forgot
Virtual
it.
Console.
Oh, the wrestling game.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was the one because they acknowledge it still exists. It's functionality-wise, it does look like it takes a little bit of a page from the NES Classic because each game will have 4 suspend points.
Nice.
They actually have a video on their site that shows how they work. It's just I think it's even a little bit faster between switching games and then the NES Classic. It just feels like a little bit smoother. There's gonna be something called Give Friends a Hand, where you can use a pointer in online mode when you like take turns, so you can like point out stuff on screen, or you can just like troll or whatever. You can use voice chat with the smartphone app as well for these. You can connect online for versus or co-op modes, and for single player games you can alternate taking turns.
That's cool.
As well.
Yeah.
And as I said, 20 games at launch. New games will be added regularly. They showed up through December the library of games. There is something I haven't been able to dive deep into, but on the European site, there's like special versions of games. Like they said, like Zelda's coming out, and then there's like a special version of it or something. And I don't know if that's been clarified or not, or if it was a misprint. It had like a 2-letter abbreviation by a version, and it was coming out later than the original one. Like it's a launch title, but in December in Europe, it had like BR or some. I don't know what it was, but. I just realized I forgot to like look into it as I was reading off the list. I don't know if it's anything. It was just a weird, just meant like some weird thing about it. Like online functionality won't be available to then or something. Who knows? But yeah, they're trying to at least do that. Like that, you can't do that on NES Classic.
Yeah,
you can't
that's all
play
cool
online
stuff.
with other people. So that's one thing. They dropped. We're gonna be releasing. By the way, today at 8 p.m., get ready to Zerg on your My Nintendo account or your Nintendo Online account for $60 a pair of wireless NES controllers that are essentially Joy-Cons. They don't work like Joy-Cons. Right. You can snap them in and charge them.
They don't work at all except in those particular NES games.
They only work for the NES games, which is strange because if you have, I don't know why, but that's how it's going to work. And it's going to be only sold online through Nintendo's online shop limited, one per account.
Yeah.
And
Don't lose 'em.
They'll ship in
Can't
December.
buy them again. Don't lose them.
Yep. I hope I forgot to bring my Switch
man.
because I thought they were on sale already, but then I saw the update that they're not going on sale till tonight. Hopefully, you can buy it through the website if you just log into your account and subscribe, because I'll be doing that immediately when our group stream ends. I will be doing that. Then let's move the cloud save stuff. So they didn't announce anything.
Hold on. Dial back real quick on this controller. So this is for only NES. So if they add SNES down the line, are they gonna add SNES
I made this bet.
also
I made this bet with Huber. I said like there's gonna be no more classic systems. Nintendo's just gonna start adding classic controllers to the Switch to play these games. So as soon as Super Nintendo stuff happens, if it does happen, you'll probably see Super Nintendo wireless controllers. I don't know about N64
How are we gonna
at this
do
point.
GameCube? And it's
Well,
64.
GameCube, we
So
already
GameCube
have the
already
controllers.
have.
That's the
They
thing.
just have to like
okay.
allow that
They're
functionality.
already
It's just
remaking them.
I need N64 controllers just to slide
That's
on. Just
the-
big, normal size.
that's the question mark, is if they'll do anything with N64.
Well, I think N64 they'll probably just use the Pro Controller charge port. So,
They could, but there's
I
a
want the slide ones.
but
knows.
yeah, I saw somebody like made a
Oh, really?
an
I
image
love-
of that.
that's
Yeah, it was
funny.
pretty funny looking.
Yeah. Real quick before we go
My
on.
main thing with the N64 controller is what will they do with the analog stick? Because the analog stick was like Gen 1 analog stick, like didn't really operate very well over the long term. People
Yeah,
like
getting like dusty, crusty down there.
yeah, the dry lubricant came
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I wish I had. I was gonna see if I had the email for it, but
The thing is, as you know, Damiani, like because it had a different angle to control, like Mario 64 feels different with that analog stick than trying to play it on any kind of virtual console or anything.
to me it does. I would agree with that. I was gonna bring up an image of there is a new N64 controller that was kickstarted. It already was kickstarted. It's now on sale to everyone else. It's from like Retro Fighters, I believe. It's like the Brawler 64. It's like a modernized version of the N64 controller. So it's just like two hands. There's no third prong anymore. And they use shoulder buttons. They added like an extra Z button, so you have two. You can use,
instead of a trigger.
so
Okay.
they both do the same thing. You have two trigger, you have two shoulder,
Sure.
and then two Z buttons as well. But the analog, everything is the same. Feels like first party quality buttons on there. Like the quality of them, the is really good. The analog though is a more modern one. It's not like the stick, like a joystick feel. It's more like the actual like more like the what you see on like the DualShock or the 360. It's more like that.
Okay.
Sorry, the Xbox One at this point, not 360, but same. I mean, sort of the same thing, and it feels pretty good.
Nice.
I'll give it that. So maybe they do something like that for N64. They do a redesigned N64 controller.
Because yeah, I do wonder, no matter what they do, if trying to replicate the old design, I just don't know if it has the right kind of durability.
This kills me. I need those controllers to play. They're so much better for me.
I'll be interested to see if you can sync up a Wii remote. Can you sync up Wii remote's Switch?
No.
Okay, that was no. Never mind. I thought for some.
But
reason-
yeah, that's a
I thought
question.
someone had
That's a
mod-
question down the road.
Yeah, I thought someone. I think it might have been someone
will
modded
Wii
it in.
games, if they ever become virtual
Yeah.
console Wii games?
Well, if that ever happens, because then there are official classic controllers that were released that can connect to the Wii remote as well. So
Right.
it's weird. It'll be interesting to see. I have some questions about this. Let's get through the information first so we could discuss the implications of these announcements. Cloud saves are coming.
Finally.
Only games that enable them will use them, and it's completely up to each publisher. Apparently, it's as simple as a checkbox when you submit the game. It'll be set to automatically yes, so you have to take the initiative to change it to no, apparently.
Okay.
So if they forget, it's going to be automatically set up. So far, Splatoon 2 and Pokemon Let's Go are confirmed to not use them. The reasoning is that they want to prevent online cheating, which is hilarious because just today, before the release of online, hackers found a way to bypass the latest Splatoon 2 anti-cheat tech that Nintendo has and have cheated their way into first place.
Oh, man.
Like made themselves invincible, like
Oh my
the number
gosh.
one rankings, and they like messaged Nintendo's like, hey, you got a problem with your rankings again or something like that. So it's still gonna happen. I don't like this argument that preventing online saves will help deter. Like it's like whatever. Just ban accounts. Like you just report. Just do what everyone else does. I don't understand this, but anyway, the smartphone app is back up. Cloud saves. The big point I want to make here real quick. It was not in the direct. Is the cloud saves only exist as long as you're a paying member.
Right.
They will not guarantee for any amount of time after you stop paying for your subscription, they will retain your cloud saves. So you might as well consider them gone the minute you stop paying. You still have your local backups like on your system,
Right.
but you still cannot back up your local saves. We've gone through this before where it's tied to an account still, so you still will need to have like your account and stuff, so like if your system gets destroyed, but if you recover your account, you should still be able to, like, if you had locally backed up save data, you should be able to restore it. Like, the very least, that needs to be offered, and I'm still not satisfied with this. I'm personally annoyed, and I think it's pretty anti-consumer that there's still no way on the Switch to do local backups. I don't care how worthless people think it is. It's just a nice peace of mind for some people.
Yeah.
And everyone else offers it.
Yeah.
Every other platform offers it, just not Nintendo, and I hope people put enough pressure on them. They'll always do their own thing, but maybe one day, they'll listen to enough people complain about it. Who knows?
You should start saying local backups.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
I'll do
like
local
me.
backups.
Yeah.
You'll do achievements.
Yeah.
I like this, Brad. We just got to think of one more.
Yeah,
we got
one more.
Like controllers. N64 controllers. The smartphone app is still going to be used the same way as it's been used before. Voice chat, connected to games to do some like management and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how you have to create friends lobbies and stuff.
Yeah.
In Splatoon.
So goofy.
Still done through an app. There'll be special rewards for members. Details forthcoming. Whoa. They just had a nice CG rendered like gold
special offers. I mean, it's
discount. It's probably gonna be discounts.
You buy 3 games and you get one for 30% off or something like that. Yeah.
And again, this information has been out there for a while. 1 month for $3.99, 3 months for $7.99, 12 months for $9.99, and you can do a family plan which supports 2 or more accounts for $34.99 a year.
Wait, it's $9.99 for a year?
No,
or is
it's
$19.
It's $19.99.
Okay, that's way cheaper than the other guys.
Yeah, 12 months for $19.99.
But yeah.
But I think it remains to be seen what. Yeah, it still doesn't feel like what's the benefit. Like, what is this money going to compared to what
Nintendo games
we've had? So,
and that's
like, how are you improving your infrastructure? Are you, you know?
Yeah, and that's where our next 2 questions come from. Are about all these Switch Online announcements. The first one from Ken Reels. Hello, allies and possible guests. I guess they thought there might have been a special guest this time.
Oh, sure.
Brad, you'll be the special guest.
Yeah.
Everyone, including yourselves, Easy Allies, has been talking about Nintendo's online service and how it's a mess. I've heard many complain about them locking online play behind a paywall being one of the big points of contention. I find this to be frustrating when it was clearly stated upfront over a year ago that Nintendo would eventually be doing this. While I find some of the online stuff annoying and or downright dumb, Nintendo's cloud save implementation being pure Nintendo, I'm dumbfounded that people are complaining about this. Am I wrong for feeling this way? What are your thoughts?
I think he has a point with saying like we knew about this a year ago. I thought I expected a little more.
There you go.
I guess
I think that's it, Brad.
like this is exactly what we thought a year ago, and like even less than I thought with the Virtual Console amount, like what's offered.
Yeah, that's my question to you, Ken Reels. Then, if we've known about this for a year, and we just saw basically nothing new has been added to this. Ooh, wow, they revealed the NES game interface.
What took so long?
Thank you, Bloodworth. Why did this take so long?
Like I was hoping, I was like, oh, maybe they'll do achievements or something like that. Something like that for this or something. They were saving it for this. And it's just like, didn't get that either. Yeah.
Because
what took so long with
we've
Virtual
essentially
Console?
been waiting to see, like, okay, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And
it doesn't feel worth the wait.
it doesn't feel like there's really anything new there other than what they've done with this NES library, which some people don't even care about.
It's like I just bought my NES Classic, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, we'll see.
good points there. I still think even if you knew about a year ago, the cloud save stuff, as I just ranted about, still sucks, in my opinion. That doesn't change it. Doesn't care how long they prepared you for that. It still doesn't change the fact.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and
not
again,
a good practice.
like I was saying, what is the benefit, right? Because Splatoon 2, if there's not a noticeable difference in the online connection from this month to next month, Yeah, it is really kind of hard to say. It's like, well, why am I paying for this now? Even though they said all along that you were going to eventually pay for it. It just kind of feels like there's got to be something there to go along with it other than just flip the switch, now you pay for it.
You really have to use a phone to make a party in Splatoon?
Yeah. It's in my review.
This is
Why?
Why? This is Nintendo being. I think something like that is probably what the Ken Reels was saying, that like that's dumbfounded them.
Yeah.
That decision.
Yeah.
There are things that just like why. And you know, it's Nintendo. They're just gonna do the way they think it is right. They've always done it this way.
You're right.
But it still does not excuse it, and I still think people should, if they feel obligated or they feel the need, should still call it out for what it is. And our next question from Hugo H2P: with paid online services, one would think Nintendo would support their focus online play games, but not only have ARMS updated finished late last year, along with the announcement of Splatoon 2 4.0 came the announcement of the DLC ending eventually. Basically, they say, granted that Smash Brothers will soon become the focus of online play, and Aces has been getting some love, but what does the panel think of Nintendo dropping support of their current biggest two online focused softwares? And I'm gonna guess, like, you know, like, yeah, what games with online play do we have to look forward to that really going to justify paying for this service?
I just, like, how many people probably play Splatoon still?
I think
like,
good amount.
a good amount?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's huge.
I think ARMS is the one that's...
ARMS,
sorry, I meant ARMS. That's
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I know
ARMS.
Splatoon's much bigger.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant ARMS. Like, it's like, why are they going to... I don't know how many people are playing it. Is it worth it for them to keep it up, keep it going? I don't know.
No, I think ARMS, they did what they could
yeah,
with it.
I feel like ARMS is a lot more understandable. But what you were saying, the detail you were saying earlier was like the content will be ending in like 12 months. So there could be more stuff? Or is this the last batch?
The last major update will be apparently in October. Like adding new maps. Beyond that, there will be like nothing of that level of significance being
next
added.
October, right?
This October.
Oh, this October is the end of Splatoon.
Yeah, so it does feel like they should have gone a little bit longer with it, especially with this launching right now.
And apparently if it's super popular, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, is Splatoon 3 already happening? Are they already working on it? Are they moving on to that?
Yeah, but we talked about that. I mean, that would be another reason why. If they're going for whatever reason, they want to get people excited again. Hey, a new Splatoon requires online.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, hey, Splatoon 2, to keep playing this, you got to pay online. Like, one's definitely more appealing than the other.
I think because we're used to Nintendo multiplayer games being like one per system. Like, there's one Mario Kart per system usually. Yeah. There's like one Smash Brothers.
We actually probably will see some whiff of a new Mario Kart next year.
I mean, if they want to make tons of money, yeah.
I think in order to justify getting people to pay for online, they're going to have to release new iterations of these games to get people excited again.
Yeah.
They mentioned Smash Brothers. I think the other big one is going to be Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That absolutely is going to use online. You're absolutely going to have... That is going to be basically a pretty much online subscription. Like, you need that if you really want to enjoy that game. It's going to be...
Yeah.
Did they say anything about any kind of online in Mario Party?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
there's definitely online. We haven't gone into it yet. Actually, Mario Party is the next game. Real quick, just to clarify, Super Mario Party new dance move mini game where you use gyro for posing. River Survival, which is the first 4-player co-op mode. It's 18 brand new mini games are being introduced in this game, but it does have online mini game mode.
Just mini game mode.
Yeah,
like you can't play a normal game.
That was the big, the brouhaha over that was that you could not play normal matches online, and we had to. I think Kyle was the big, the one arguing the most against why siding with Nintendo. Like, it wouldn't make for a good experience. Where I think you should just like let it. It's an optional. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't.
I mean, I do feel like Mario Party is the kind of game where I wouldn't want to ever play with randoms.
Well, it's not like you can talk to them or anything, so it doesn't matter really.
Well,
I mean, it's just gonna be like no one's gonna really be talking anyways.
I mean, you could set up other ways to chat if you want, but
yeah, it's like you have the option to do that.
I guess my question is, I mean, my counter argument to this, and how we're diving into this topic, was that what if you have long distance friends and you can't play in person, but you play a lot of online games together? Mario Party would absolutely be fun. I know it doesn't have the same like intimacy of and immediacy of being in person where you could like read each other's body language, but like you're still hearing each other, and you're going off like people's tones and stuff. You still pick up on that, like as well. And I still think it's a worthwhile endeavor to offer that option.
Yeah,
but to each
and it's like just a mini game mode instead.
That's it. Yes. So it's a mini game, and you have to, as far as we know, is according to all this data and details, you have to pay to be a online member to access that mode. But yeah, you said Super Mario Party, Animal Crossing. Trying to think of any others that might have like big online components that are in the works. I don't know about Metroid. I
we
really
don't
think
have
about
any
that.
idea whether they would try that again.
There is a statement on the record that they would like to have some kind of multiplayer element to the next Zelda game. I have seen that, but I don't know if it will go so far as to be online.
Last time they tried that, it didn't work out.
Yeah, but I think you both were more right about like a Splatoon 3, a new Mario Kart, Smash Brothers will carry it for a while.
I think they've got the games there. I just think it's very particular to Splatoon 2 to feel like this is ending prematurely.
Yeah.
That
I agree.
Right now, with the online service being introduced and with Splatoon 2 being such a big community-driven game,
it's like their flagship right now.
Yeah,
online. Yeah.
Really, realistically, it should have a lot more content planned out.
How's Mario Kart selling still?
It's
so
insane.
they're just we got that too.
It is.
So that's probably a big factor.
It is one of their top-selling games. It is. Is it extremely well?
Mario Karts, dude, never stop selling.
Like, it actually doesn't make, unless this online argument is like one of the sticking points, it actually doesn't make sense for them to release a new Mario Kart sales-wise, because 8 Deluxe is selling so dang well. It'll basically end. I mean, it won't completely end, but it'll put a dent in 8's momentum. I
don't know, man. They just put out a bundle for 7, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no new Mario Kart on like 3DS, so
yeah, I'm just saying.
It'll still sell well, I think, but it
people
won't
play Mario Kart.
Yeah, people love their Mario Kart.
I would love a new Mario Kart.
The big one that's on my mind. I remembered as we were talking. Next year's Pokemon RPG.
Right.
Yep.
Everyone's that's gonna be like.
We'll see how
that'll be a huge deal. Oh yeah.
No online battles. Just hang out in the lobby. That's
like the trading and stuff. Watch them be like, you can't trade if you don't have an online. And they'll have like some cool evolutions tied to trading, and it'll be like, oh, you will never get that evolution if you don't pay for that online subscription to do it. I can't wait to see Kyle's reactions. It's gonna be bad. They moved on from the Switch Online stuff after the video presentation. Mm-hmm. We talked about Super Mario Party already a little bit.
Hope it's good.
There's new single player mode that I didn't mention, and there's a character-specific dice rolls.
I think that's
cool. They showed like Bowser doing something, and they basically another way to turn the tide if you're falling behind. The boards look like
I like that. I like having a reason to pick a character.
Yeah, I think
other
that's
than
cool.
Just you like one
Aesthetically, yeah.
I like that. I liked how the boards look like a return to normal. You're moving around, no more in a car vehicle thing.
That was goofy.
Like we've departed from that. It looks like we're going
Classic
back
board, baby.
to jolly normal Mario Kart or Super Mario Party or Mario Party. Next up, new announcement, new game from Game Freak called Town. About a small village is the entire world of this game, and as the main character, you have to fight off monsters that appear within your town and defeat them. And to do that, you must enlist the help of villagers and get their aid with their special abilities. Coming in 2019, it's nice to see. One, I think it's nice to see Game Freak doing something different that's not Pokemon. But two, I think we were discussing this during our post reactions of the Nintendo Direct, that this is somewhere in the ballpark where now I expect the next Pokemon mainline RPG 2019 to look like aesthetically.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of moved the bar up from let's go to this. There's a big enough gap, and now my expectations have been at least set to Town now for that. That was like my biggest takeaway. But what do you think about this game?
It's intriguing to me. I'll check it out. I think the idea of it all being in one town is kind of interesting. I'm just like, is this just gonna be like a tower defense game? Like I was thinking of My Life as a Dark Lord the whole time they were showing that. And I was like, it's just gonna be like that, or be a little more in depth. What is it?
Yeah, I'm definitely curious how it all works out. How it progresses in particular, because that is one of the dangers. Is if you don't have exploration to show you new things, then what is there to make it feel new and like you're not just grinding the whole time. So.
Yeah, interesting concept.
Interesting to see what it turns out to be in the end. Well, we'll hear about it more next year. They showed off Daemon X Machina a little bit more again. Let's talk more about the specifics. How they're called arsenals, not mechs. I mean, the mechs are called arsenals. When you defeat an enemy arsenal, you can get its parts and weapons.
That's cool.
You can either equip them immediately, you can send them back to your base for use later. They talked about you can equip multiple weapons, and so you could have projectiles to be ranged or switch to melee, go in for close combat. You can exit your mech so you can explore on foot, and you can enhance your human form over the course of the game, which will in turn enhance your arsenal. Up to 4-player online co-op. So there you go, another online game.
Oh yeah,
right there, coming in 2019. So I think we just got to see a little bit of it more in action, and got to see I think it was the on foot stuff was the big new thing we got to see. I remember Jones remarking about the color palette of that game, a lot of red to it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess how are you feeling about that game? Because I know a lot of people ask us to talk about this and are curious why we weren't super excited about it.
Visually underwhelmed. I think the idea of it is cool. I'm gonna try it, see how it is, but I'm not expecting anything super great from it.
I think the kind of high contrast visuals and the crazy soundtrack. I think that they definitely do a lot to try to set it apart. From and there really haven't been a whole lot of games like this lately. I think to me it really is just going to come down to the controls, how responsive does everything feel?
Bloodworth.
How good does it feel to to hit things, to dodge? All of that stuff is super important for this kind of game.
I'm worried about how this game is going to run. From what I've seen of it, it didn't look that impressive, and if it's going to have 4-player co-op, I'm very concerned about how it's going to
performance
perform,
with that, because to me that could potentially be its biggest draw, is because it's basically 4 players taking on big monster arsenals.
Yeah. Really cool
Which
idea.
I was like, okay, it's just, it's the Monster Hunter PSO format here we go. And but if it doesn't run well, people are going to bail on that real quick. So I think it's important. I think it's still got time. It's still coming out in 2019. So
totally.
I think
absolutely.
I'm still on the positive side of it.
Yeah.
After everything I've seen.
I mean, I want to play it and everything like that. I just have my expectations in check.
Yeah. I agree with you. The visual stuff. It's
I
know. Yoshi's Crafted World. All right, we've seen so much of this game, and I'm not really going to talk about it other than we got a coming spring 2019. It's still not a final date. It
hasn't really done anything to excite me, but it looks fine.
Yeah, it looks
pretty.
nice.
It looks fun.
It's going to be a casual, jolly, just enjoy yourself going through these beautiful vistas. And if you want to explore and find the hidden secrets, you'll probably get a little bit more enjoyment out of that. Shifting perspective stuff, probably get a few oohs and ahs here and there, but it's
a Yoshi game.
Why it's taking so long, and
we're gonna make Jones review this, right?
I think that'd be hilarious, but I don't think
it's a weird meme.
Yeah. That's all I want to talk about Yoshi for now.
I think the thing to me is I don't feel like I've seen enough there to really justify the aesthetic. Kirby's Epic Yarn, it was very much a part of how that game worked. I think even Yoshi's Woolly World, but with this game, it's I don't know that I'm seeing that look inform the gameplay all that much.
A level design,
other than just this flipping idea.
And you see that in a really cool level design, how that works into it, and actually making it really cool.
Want to see a cool boss battle or Yoshi transformation or something? Yeah.
That the skeleton thing chasing at that one part towards the end of the trailer,
I don't remember really.
That thing I think looked the coolest part to me.
Okay.
We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm not like I haven't completely written it off yet or anything like that.
Right, of course.
It's just I'm just
I haven't written it off.
I'm just confounded why it's taking
Yeah.
so long. It's just I'd like to see like a behind the scenes developer, like with the old Wada ass style. Just maybe they could shed some light on like why this game is just taking so long. Other than they're just the leading theory that they're just holding it for a good spot in their release calendar, which I don't want to believe that's the truth. Next up, tabletop gaming. Asmodee is bringing some big name tabletop games to Switch, starting with Carcassonne. Is it Carcassonne or Carcassonne? Carcassonne. Coming December, Lord of the Rings living card game. I love that living card game. April of next year, and Pandemic, which looked like a very mobile style board, like mobile phone style board game. Looked not that appealing. March of next year. And then they had, we can also confirm that Catan and Munchkin will be coming in the future. I have actually played Settlers of Catan. I played it at PAX South in 2015. Nice. I think it was like my first like modern, like mature, like board game. Like not like a child's board game type game experience. I had fun with it. I'd be down for that for a group stream. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that the implementation of these could be interesting because if you could make it work with a Switch or like Super Mario Party where you have two Switches like out on a table and you can just like play that like a board game with a group of people.
That would be cool.
That would be a lot cooler than, everyone just sitting around with their own Switch on a screen. Yeah.
I bet one of them tries to take advantage of that, especially after seeing the Super Mario Party trailer stuff. Everyone now knows like Nintendo thought of that. Maybe we can do something with that.
No Hearthstone still. I'm
surprised. I feel like that's a next year announcement. I feel like it's been rumored for so long. It's been like Hearthstone and Overwatch. I think Overwatch is like not going to happen.
I feel Hearthstone's much more.
I think Hearthstone is the one that's more likely, especially if Diablo 3 meets their expectations. They'll probably be like, all right, get that Hearthstone version out there now. Like we sat on this too long.
I mean, we haven't seen any of those come to Switch, have we? Like Gwent's not on it.
Nope.
Elder Scrolls Legends not on it. You would think that would be like easy pickings.
I mean, maybe they're just coming. You know, we'll see.
They're waiting for the online structure.
That too. That is a very important component. That they want to see how that will.
Sure, but I mean, some of those are free to play, if not all of them, right?
I was kidding. Any new ones? Oh, you're talking about existing ones. Oh, yeah. But like any like new ones, like if they were gonna like release new versions or something, and they won't like want to charge for it, yeah. But any of the free to play ones, yeah, there's nothing holding them back. Like that could drop now, and it wouldn't make a difference. So I don't know. Like this would all be really great to like ask some of these publishers like their strategies. It's like, so why isn't Hearthstone on Switch yet? And you bring Diablo 3 over before Hearthstone? It's kind of curious to me, but okay. Like I would never put. You asked me to bet, I wouldn't have bet on Diablo 3 being the first one to come over from Blizzard.
BlizzCon's coming up though, so maybe if they do have something to show, that's when they'll show it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
BlizzCon,
true.
baby.
That could happen.
That is, maybe they're saving it for that. I want a big announcement. A game I didn't expect it to come on Switch, but it's coming. It was inadvertently announced a week earlier because that was originally when the direct was supposed to happen. They tried to scrub it, but everyone saw it. Civilization 6 coming to Switch November 16th.
Cool.
Exclusive 4-player local multiplayer was like the big addition. Mentioned it earlier. Just nice to see that. Yeah. It's another big game. We'll see how it sells.
Pretty unexpected too.
Yeah, like here and there, and there was also like City Skylines shadow drops as well.
Right. Although that City Skylines footage was not.
Yeah,
was not very flattering.
But so be it.
Also not flattering. The Crystal Chronicles footage.
Oh, we'll get to that. We're almost there.
What the heck?
You're right.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that, Bloodworth. I'd like to know the answer to that too. Real quick before we get to that though, right before it was StarLink.
Oh yeah.
And they basically
Switch version definitive.
The Switch version, they were like, it has all this Star Fox stuff. You know about it, but let's show you just like how in depth it's going. And it's you got like these cut scenes. They talked about like it's the exclusive missions. They even phrase it as like the Star Fox team is being sent to save the Atlas star system. I'm like, oh, like the Lilacs. I see what they're doing here. introduced Wolf as like your villain, so it's pretty significant. And
they're going in on it big.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much now
cool,
on board for it. I'm pretty much treating it as a Star Fox game.
Yeah.
And the other versions are just like the vanilla versions.
You have to buy the R-Wing, right?
To play the mission?
Star Fox stuff.
I don't think so. I think you just
have to.
I think you just need to switch version to get the missions.
Okay. So then what does having the R-Wing do then?
But that's because it's a toy how you
Right.
how you play the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually need to use those to actually play it though. Pretty
I
sure.
don't know.
I mean,
Like, what's the point
Yeah.
of putting
it's
it on
like a
controller?
toy attachment.
Jones could clarify.
Okay.
Yeah, I like. I'll be honest. I didn't look into I forgot to look into if you need to unlock that. I'll be a little bit annoyed if you need the toys to unlock it.
Maybe it comes with the toy. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it comes with. I'm sorry, I don't know this, but like this is how much I just don't care about the toy part of it. I just want to play the game. So I apologize for those who love amiibos and stuff. No, I've
Sorry.
never really liked that stuff. It's just if we need it to unlock stuff, fine, I'll cave in and do that. But the world would be better off without that stuff, in my opinion. But now, I'm all in on StarLink now because of that. But now, finally, Final Fantasy announcements, starting with Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. Didn't look too hot, as Bloodworth said.
Yeah, man. You're right, Bloodworth. I remember that. I was like, what?
So, Bloodworth,
like
you might
GameCube.
be able to like talk about this better if you understand, like from your experience, like some of the technical aspects of the GameCube. I had a friend of mine telling me that the original GameCube version used this kind of tiered texture loading ability that the architecture of the GameCube allowed to load textures like quickly when scenes were being during like movement and stuff. And it was specific to the GameCube architecture, and he thinks that is why Switch is struggling with it right now. Because it's basically like the same issue you run into like Saturn emulation and stuff. Like the architecture is designed for a very specific way to run certain games, and if you don't have that same architecture in place, no matter how powerful your system is, it's hard to make that work. So it could be because it's not coming yet. It's coming in 2019. They might still be working on optimizing it, and
Sure.
they at least needed to show off stuff. And if they're willing to show it off like that, maybe it's just like game wide right now that they're trying to fix it. But I'm really shocked they didn't say anything about that to damage control. You'd think their Twitter account would be like, hey, so, the GameCube version had like the specialty. We are still optimizing it. We expect it to be optimized for like 30 frames or something by the time it hits. Nothing like that. And I think that's the scary part. Is like radio silence about that footage. But it did look really rough.
Yeah, it's really surprising. Like if you're gonna remaster a GameCube game of all things that didn't have any issues running that I can remember on GameCube. I mean, there probably were some slowdown or whatever.
Not as bad as what we saw.
Not a normal cutscene for sure. And some of the graphics in that game were really like gorgeous at the time. Like I remember like sailing away on a ship really early, and just the way the water and the way the ship itself looked and the art style, and there's a lot of effects and things going on, and so I could see in combat if like multiple spells are going off and there's a lot of enemies on screen and you get like a little bit of a dip, but just like in a random cutscene, like what is happening right now?
This will be good. I will say something positive about this is that now I'll be more inclined to play this game because you have to go through the very ridiculous setup of the GameCube version.
It is funny, yeah, because we have been batting around the idea of like, why don't we stream this sometime? And it's like, well, it's a lot of setup, so we don't want to do it in the middle of a big event where we have to switch things out all the time. And now it's like, well, problem solved. We'll just wait.
Yeah, there will be online multiplayer. Another game you'll have to probably pay.
Yeah,
for
you're
online.
absolutely gonna have to.
I didn't see this. Did either of you see this? Are they gonna allow you on the Switch version to just take 4 Switches and play like old school style, like
I
replicating
would
the
think
Link?
so.
That seems like it'd be a missed opportunity if it's not doing that.
Yeah.
But regardless, there's now a way to play this without the hassle of all the Link cables and having 4 individual
Crazy.
Game Boy
Never
Advance
thought I'd
systems.
see this game again.
Yeah. Hopefully those FPS issues are worked out by the time it releases, and I get to finally experience this game. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, which came out on mobile devices a while ago, came out
I was expecting that one.
Me too.
Yeah, this had been
pretty much since it was announced.
Yeah,
the original.
This seemed like an obvious candidate.
It was more funny to me to see it come back to PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm curious to see how well it actually does. If they've released any kind of figures on that. I'm pretty sure the Switch version will do the best of any version.
Yeah.
And it is on a discounted price right now. It's like an early adopter price. It's like $17.99 right now instead of whatever it'll be for the full price. I picked it up. I hopefully can find some time to sneak in a stream of it on Switch this week if I can make some time for that. But yeah, from when I played the mobile version before my phone crashed and couldn't run it, it actually wasn't bad.
Yeah, I was
enjoying
impressed with it when I played it too.
Yeah, I think for people who don't want. I'm assuming it's much shorter than the full Final Fantasy 15 because they cut out gameplay segments of it. But story-wise, it's still the same story. I think this might be easier to swallow if you don't want to take like that longer, like 40, 50 hour plus time investment. I'm assuming this clock's in a lot shorter. World of Final Fantasy Maxima. Okay.
Yeah, that one surprised me.
Allows you to play as Final Fantasy characters. It's like
that was one of your
swap.
criticisms, right?
So yeah, like you could summon any of these, not any, but a lot of these classic iconic Final Fantasy characters. These elaborate summon videos that were cool. It played the classic, like a new version, a rearrangement of their classic themes, and then they did their flashy attack, and then they vanished. And it's like, oh, where are the wait, in this game of World Final Fantasy? I mean, I'm seeing them in cutscenes, but why can't I play with them in combat other than certain unique situations? Now, through Avatar Swap or Swatch, whatever they're calling it, you can, in battle, so they stack like totems. They're small, medium, large. You can now put them into your stack party and replace your main character, hence the Avatar name. Very clever. But it looked like from all the outside of combat footage in that trailer, you still are the two main protagonists as well. Because they can swap into adult form as well as their chibi form. And I don't think they made adult models of any of the Final Fantasy characters, so thus it's just in combat only. Yeah. It's coming November 6th. It's a decent game. I think it's fun to play. I just don't know how well it will. It should run fine on Switch. I don't think there should be any issues with it. I just don't know if this is a big enough draw for anyone to go back to it and play. Honestly. This next one is a Bloodworth special. Because I loved your reaction during the stream, Bloodworth. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody! With an exclamation mark. So port of the 2007 Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Dungeon.
2007?
That's what it said in the trailer.
I thought for sure it came out later than that.
They're digging deep
port
into
of the 2007 entry Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Dungeon for DS. Or was it Wii?
It was on Wii.
Wii, sorry. Yeah, Wii. Blood, what was your thoughts on this?
It just felt like a mediocre game to me, so it was really strange for them to see them pull that out. It was weird.
But you can befriend all the monsters now, Bloodworth, and there's co-op mode with Joy-Cons. You think that's gonna make it go down a little smoother this time?
I don't know.
Not really,
because it was just one of those things where like you kind of go through. I don't remember if the dungeons were randomized or if they just felt kind of drab, but there just wasn't that exciting gameplay wise. I mean, there was some cool stuff with the cutscenes and stuff, particularly the opening, but I don't know. I always felt like it was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd have to go back and watch my review from 2007 to get more detail than that, but.
I know there are people who know it, so I'm glad that there's another offering for that. Those type of games have never really been up my alley.
Yeah, not really my jam.
Yeah, I'll try them out, but I generally just
and if you're not aware, I mean, this is a mystery dungeon game.
Yep.
Yeah, so like Shiren and
Wanderer, yep.
Pokemon did a few of them as well. Yeah,
mystery dungeon. Time and Space. That was like one of my first reviews, game trailers. Besides Final Fantasy Tactics A2. That Pokemon game taught me I really don't like dungeon crawlers like that. Though I think I could stomach Shiren the Wanderer a little bit more, but that's usually regarded as one of the like top end, like higher tier entries into that genre.
And it's because it's that is its own set of games, whereas the others are just like licensed takes on the same thing. So they don't necessarily feel like they put as much effort into them.
That's a good point. This next one might not seem like a big deal. Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. It's coming to Switch in 2019. It's also coming to other. It came out on PlayStation 4 and PC, but it's now coming to other platforms, including Switch. The reason I argue this is a big deal because this is for the first time ever a post Super Nintendo mainline non-MMO Final Fantasy game is coming to a platform other than PlayStation and PC. I say MMO because obviously Final Fantasy XI came out on Xbox 360, but it was PS2 and PC only, and 14 has only been PlayStation systems and PC as well, so it's pretty much the exception of 11. But mainline Final Fantasy games have, post Super Nintendo, have been, their allegiance has been to Sony.
Yes.
13 and 15 were both on Xbox, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So let me correct that.
So you just have that period, that 7 to 12 chunk of games.
So I have it right here, and then 13 was the first one to break it with that. So it's been a long time, but like for Nintendo specifically, Nintendo has it's been 24 years since a Nintendo platform has seen a mainline Final Fantasy game on one of their devices. From post Super Nintendo era. They've had remakes and remasters, all the GBA and DS stuff, but never anything from Final Fantasy VII on a Nintendo platform. So, and then 13 was the first one to break from that tradition for Xbox, but still, I think this is a big deal for Nintendo. I think it might signal some things to come in the future.
Well, they got like 3 coming
because they wrapped it up with a announcement of Final Fantasy VII, 9, and 10.2 HD remaster are also all coming to Switch in 2019. Well, Brad, you weren't here for this. I want to know your reaction. What your thoughts are. Well, no, just like this announcement. Like,
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Heck yeah. Great games.
But you said no 8.
Yeah. Well, there's no HD version of 8. Period. There's only like the PS3, PS1, and PC port. I read somewhere like the code is missing or something like that.
What I read, and I don't remember the source, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it sounds like they just didn't keep code at all. Like even months after Final Fantasy VII was done, like IDOS apparently had to re-engineer a lot of the game to make the PC version.
Because Square Enix couldn't turn over.
Kingdom Hearts went through that also.
This is I think might be some truth in that because this has been a problem of other companies. They've gone through this as well. Some Japanese studios have had issues with this. Sega had this issue, like Shenmue's audio. Like that's a big one. Konami has also gone through this problem as well. So it's like Sega, Konami. There have been I think Capcom's been pretty good for the most part. There have been some exceptions, and then now Squaresoft, now Square Enix, running into this problem, as no one had the foresight to realize these games would need to be ported onto other platforms down the line. Like movies, you shoot the original print. They've been around much longer. Same with music. They know better. They know that the masters need to be held on to, but a quote-unquote master of a game, they go through so many versions and stuff, it's a little bit more difficult. You don't have slight revisions you have a director's cut of a movie, maybe. You don't get 4 different iterations of we had to patch this. So we Ocarina of Time's infamous, we have multiple versions of this game that came out with all slight changes over a course of a few months. I think just no one was really prepared for that, and this is the reality of it. I also read something about the Sony exclusivity deal was a really tough thing to break. Especially Final Fantasy 13 being a big deal, but their legacy games before that were a harder thing to bring out on other platforms other than a PlayStation or a non-console release. And it had something to do with the changing of the guard. They were more open to it and renegotiating that as well. So I don't know which one I think the truth lies somewhere in between, kind of both. Why it's taken so long for this, but this is
What do you mean for 8?
Oh, for 7 and 9, specifically coming out for 8 still where it still is. I think it's more to do with the code issues than the licensing at this point, obviously, since we're getting all the other ones. I still think we'll see potentially 8 at some point because we also don't have any of the Final Fantasy 13, 13.2, or Lightning Returns. I'm pretty sure those Switch can handle those games. I don't think it'd be too problematic to get them up and running on Switch. So there's still, potential there.
I mean, there's still games to go through.
Yeah, there's still more to go through and stuff. So we could see that. But yeah, Final Fantasy next year. lot of.
I wish they put tactics on it.
Who's to say that's not in the works either? You know, we got a lot of possibilities here.
No Kingdom Hearts either.
There is a rumor that Kingdom Hearts is coming to all the old Kingdom Hearts collections are coming to Xbox and Switch next year.
Because 3's on Xbox.
Xbox,
like
apparently they're
it kind of has to.
Like I'm surprised they're not on PC.
And I think the other rumor was in Japan, Kingdom Hearts 3 will be another one of those Japanese streaming things
like
for
Assassin's,
Switch.
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey was in the Japanese Direct announced, and then Biohazard 7 already happened, or it might still be ongoing, but it was a limited time thing.
Biohazard 7.
That was their first one. That's I guess this is the question that I want to ask. It also comes from one of our patron submitted questions from Megan Leinert. Hello, panel. With the overwhelming support from Square Enix for the Switch at the Direct, with the recent announcements of many Final Fantasy games coming to the platform, what do you think this means for the future of Final Fantasy and Nintendo? Could we be seeing many more Final Fantasy games coming? And if so, which ones would you like to see? Could even something like Kingdom Hearts be a reality?
Yes.
Thanks for taking the time. Love and respect. We kind of answered the Kingdom Hearts, but yeah, what is the one? Let's open up.
6.
Let's 6.
Yeah, I want 6.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to have some form of a collection like they did.
I mean, that's the dream.
Yeah, with the Mega Man games,
have
an NES collection, have a Super NES collection.
That was rumored for so long too.
It was,
the 30th anniversary Final Fantasy big collection that never materialized.
Like even just like 1 through 6 would be great, something like that.
What about this? Open it up to like any like classic Square Enix, like their Square or Enix titles. Like I think I would love to see like another re-release of Chrono Trigger on Switch.
Yeah,
like
obviously,
it's nice to have it on there.
Chrono Cross on there.
Like a Chrono collection like that. Those two and Radical Dreamers. Put those all together and put them on the Switch.
It sounds like Chrono Cross might be in the same kind of issues as Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
Around that same time period.
I want Parasite Eve to come back in some way.
Dragon Quest Collection on Switch would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Legend of Dragon. Oh, that was Sony, though, wasn't that? They worked on that. I think Sony had a part in that.
Forget that.
Can't remember. Anyways, but I would love to see all those old RPGs come back.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all the Mana games and the Saga games. And there's a ton of different things that they could pull. There is
Dragon Quest.
Good story.
Kyle just played through
Brave Fencers,
Terranigma, which never came out in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about. I feel like there's some other Enix games.
I mean, they're doing.
Enix side.
That was Super Nintendo that I played.
The one. They did one Tactics Ogre.
I want ActRaiser. Give me ActRaiser, man.
ActRaiser would be cool.
That'd be awesome. I don't know. They're doing Chocobo Mystery Dungeon too, so
true.
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Yeah. Like I expect to see more of this.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Legend of Gaia was the one I was thinking of.
Okay. Gotcha.
We're getting close to the end here. We just had 2 more kind of announcements, big ones. So for they ended with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate announcing Isabelle is coming to Smash. They did it with a very troll opening that made you think that this might be Animal Crossing until a little like disclaimer appeared at the bottom screen, not actual gameplay. I think that's when it started to tip us. I think Jones immediately said like, okay, it's not Animal Crossing, it's Smash Brothers. I need a little bit more convincing because Animal Crossing was one of the weaker like my experience and knowledge of the series is like on the lower end for Nintendo franchises. This feels like, I know it's been rumored forever, I just don't get what the big deal is because it's such a strange character for Smash. Like her movesets in the trailer was very like jolly. It was like jolly, like stop, and then like I'm gonna cheer you in the air. It's like my anti-air, and then it's like, and then like the kind of like the popper to knock them off and fishing people off the edge. I was like, I mean, it's intriguing. It's definitely a different vibe, but didn't make sense for Smash inherently. So yeah, I'm kind of lost on that one. But it seems people are excited about it.
I wish it was Tom Nook. That's who I'd want. Just like throws dead at you.
Oh, Tom Nook.
Hitting people with money bags.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange because obviously Isabelle is a character you interact with a lot in New Leaf.
That was her slogan, Isabelle.
But you know, it's like you might as well have Blathers in there, right? It's just you just talk
Mr.
somebody
Rossetti.
to death. Could you imagine if he just starts talking in like words? It's like keep hitting their damage up and up and up and up and then you just like do a dive bomb with Blathers, swoop in on them.
Blood.
Oh, or I think Rossetti's an assist trophy or something, right?
And also in the one of the stages as well, the Animal Crossing stage. But I think this was more to serve as a setup. They alluded to it before they ended to say, "Hey, we got Smash Brothers, but stick around to the end." And this announcement kind of set up what proceeded in Animal Crossing for Switch. With Tom Nook was at his desk, finishing watching the announcement with all of us of Isabelle in Smash Brothers. Started talking about how he needs to make a nice new home for everyone to come home to after they're done smashing and camping, alluding to another Animal Crossing game. And we just got a logo in 2019. Animal Crossing 2019.
It's the most we've gotten.
And I will have to say, Jones was not thrilled.
No, of course he wasn't.
It was like,
of course he wasn't.
That's it. Welcome to the club with Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon.
I would say that's more than Metroid. Metroid, we got like a logo.
The thing is we don't know if we saw anything.
Yeah, like that CG. It's not indicative necessarily of how the game will look. Even the opening.
I at least saw a character that's going to be in the game.
Maybe not. You don't know. Maybe
Tom Nook's gonna be in that game.
Maybe it's Tom Nook Jr. or something.
I mean, he has 3 kids, right?
Yeah. Maybe doesn't he? 3?
Yeah, I think he has 3.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a while.
I've only really played the GameCube one. You didn't have kids then.
I played the GameCube with the DS.
He did.
Did he in GameCube?
Yeah, once you expanded the shop later on.
I don't remember.
Pretty sure.
That's been a while. Yeah. DS was the last one I played a lot of. I've only touched the more recent ones, but I didn't really play them that much. We do have a question about this. I think it's
okay.
Might get you more optimistic potentially. Harry Waterhouse asks, "Hi allies, I've never played an Animal Crossing game before, but I've heard great things about them. With the new game being announced for Switch in 2019, I'm considering making this my first game into the franchise, but that trailer didn't leave me with any excitement. So, what can an Animal Crossing trailer do to make a newcomer excited for the game?" So when we get that Animal Crossing Direct, what do you want to see?
I would say if I was him, I would want to see what the game's actually like. What it's actually like walking around the town, what's new about it. Like, because they added, like, all, like, the town sort of to it, right? Didn't they later? Like, you go to, like, a different town or something like that.
Well, they just had, like a
district or something
to shop at and stuff. Yeah,
like that wasn't even there when I played. So when I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" I don't know. Like, if it's gonna be your first thing in Animal Crossing, you need to see what it's like playing it instead of Tom Nook just kind of tapping at a desk. Show all the cool stuff you can make in your house and like what's new about it.
That would go a long way. Just
show like what you're gonna do in the world besides like chopping a tree or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing just is a weird game in terms of trailers. Other than showing off new features, I don't know exactly what could make you excited for it if you haven't been in to the series so far, because it really is just about that kind of that daily check-in and getting to know the other characters in your community and collecting those matching furniture sets and the fact that there's it's a game that's made to be played like a little bit every day, and so you see how the world changes 3 months later. That's a hard thing to get across from a demo or a trailer or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get that it's a slow burn game. It's not meant to be played for like many, you don't marathon
or
these
no
games.
Sprint, I should say. Sorry.
People will do clock abuses and stuff to get around that. Cause like, no, I want to just play the game like faster. But the way it's meant to be played is you log in every now and then to the game. Not log in, but you start it up and play it. Maybe for like an hour or two a week after your initial, like you have a few hours probably when you start the game. But after that, it's like checking back like every few days or every week. Just kind of like weeklies, like what you're used to now. I mean, that's kind of what it is. And it's meant to just be played over time. I think if you try and give it like about a year, like just try playing it on and off for about a year. And I think you might better understand whether you like it or not. It's a different story, but like at least you'll get what is the appeal of Animal Crossing. And rather than trying to play it by like reading a guide saying just do this, like no. Maybe when you're a veteran or something and you're tired of waiting.
Well, I mean, you need the guides for reference.
I'm talking about like guides for like how to cheese stuff, the time clock, like just speed the clock to this point, then do this, how to play the game. Definitely read up on how to do that, but don't take advantage of the game if you're a new player to it. Definitely take your time and play it how it was meant to be played. Would be my advice.
Yeah.
That wraps it up. That was the end of the direct. That was the last announcement there. Animal Crossing. They delivered on their there were some announcements left in some games we not heard about that they said in their response to their E3 presentation and stuff like that. Hey, we still got more announced. Yeah, I think this will be the last big thing. I think the only big things we have left to look forward to are specifically to Smash Brothers. I didn't want to get into this. There was some packaging stuff released. Apparently, they confirmed how many total characters there are. On an Amazon listing, they had to delete that sentence. They removed it because it was not supposed to be there. So apparently, according to GameSpot, we know 68 characters. There are 68 official characters right now. There will be a final total of 71, which means there are still 3 more characters to be revealed. And there are a lot of rumors pointing to just 3 characters that keep getting their names mentioned. Whether they're true or not will yet to be seen. I don't know if I want to do this to you.
Do it to me.
One of them is a certain Demon Hunter.
Don't be cute. Just give me all of them.
From Capcom.
Just give me all of them, dude.
Apparently, Dante from Devil May Cry is
the
last big rumored one.
Names.
Dante from Devil May Cry. Ken is Ken's an Echo Fighter. Sorry, the actual new ones were Dante, and I don't remember the 2 others because I didn't care because I just saw Dante. I stopped at Dante and I was like, Dante. All right,
dare you tease me like that?
There we go. The other 2 weren't as big. People think what?
Gino finally?
No, Gino's not one of the 3 rumored ones. Gino is what people think will be part of the DLC along with Master Chief and Banjo. These people think the stage thing, there's more stage stuff. People think the forest stage, Maze Forest stage is going to be a stage in Smash Brothers at least with the music. That was someone who was like a little bit more credible.
Got me all excited.
Like there's like 5 more stages or something to be revealed, and 3 of them will be for each of the unique characters. 2 will be whatever people think. One of them's a monster hunt, the monster hunter level, and then for some reason people think the source said that has been right about some of the stuff says it's the maze forest maze from Super Mario RPG, which is why people think Gino. But I think Gino would be a DLC character because I think they decided that later. We'll see. Who knows? 3 more characters, apparently. And that will be like the big news for the rest of the year for Nintendo from their directs. I expect at least 1 more Smash Direct with that stuff. So
November or something.
December. Oh, no. It'll probably happen in November.
Before Black Friday.
Yeah. I think it'd be too late. Maybe. I don't know.
They announced the system already. Stuff like that.
Yeah, they announced the bundle, all that stuff. It's all out there. Oh, that's a lot of things real quick. Bundles. There's a Pokemon Let's Go
bundle.
Fortnite bundle just announced. Pokemon Let's Go bundle. Smash bundle. Wondering how they're trying to get to that 20 million fiscal
Fortnite
year
bundle's
goal.
really funny to me.
It is. Because
you're going to bundle a free game?
It says $2.99 with Fortnite. Everyone's like, whoa, I get a free game. It's like, oh. I wonder if they need to like do a poll of people. That's
just there to like put that like front and center to people at Walmart that don't know that Fortnite's on Switch. Like that's the only reason that exists.
I will laugh at that version. So I mean, I don't know if they'll give the SKU numbers to Nintendo, but it'd be hilarious if they look at their data. It's like Fortnite bundle number 1. It's ahead of the Pokemon bundle and the Smash bundle. Oh. Now that shows you the force and the power behind Fortnite. But that's it. That's what to look forward to. Thank you for everyone who submitted your questions this week. If you would like to submit questions for consideration for future episodes of Friend Code, you just need to be a $5 and up patron, and I will make the post the week that we will be recording a new episode. They'll call for the submissions, so be on the lookout for that. And just always please remember to try and keep the questions tied to the topics we're talking about. I still every now and then get at least 2 or 3 questions that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. They're Nintendo related, but as you see, we're generally pretty full on time for these episodes lately. But I'll be very specific if you don't need to ask about the topic. Just, follow the instructions. You have a better chance of getting your questions selected. But again, thank you for those questions. Thank you, both of you, for joining me this week. Yeah, always a pleasure. Good stuff. And until next time, may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.